What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Karl Boissonneault of Xerox. How are you, Karl? What's happening?
I'm well, thanks, Andy. Nice to be with you here this afternoon.
Great to see you again. You and I officially met last year at your dealer. You had a big dealer conference last spring in Miami. It was officially the hottest I think I was in 2023. It was kind of nice to get away from here in not so sunny Rochester. Where are you today?
I am in Laval, just north of Montreal, up in Canada.
All
So
right. So
a little chillier than Miami as well.
yeah, a little chillier, but in a few weeks it's probably going to be a lot nicer.
Yep.
We're heading into the northeast time of the year of our area, right? So,
Yep.
um, I don't want to spend all day talking about weather. I want to talk about what you do for Xerox, and you are VP. You've moved into a pretty substantial role, at least from where I sit, as far as the dealer channel, the
Yep.
reseller channels. So let's maybe if you could just spend a few minutes talking about what you do for Xerox, and we'll take it from there.
Happy to do that. And again, thanks for the opportunity. I'm really excited to be spending some time with you here this afternoon. So, Karl Boissonneault, I've been with Xerox for 10 years, Andy, but I've been in leadership roles in the channels for the extent of those 10 years. Um, However, I guess for the past 2 years, I've been running North America channels, which really includes Canada and the US. And as you referenced, it really includes all the different types of partners, our agents, our resellers, and our dealers. I also am responsible for managing relationships with our distributors, right? Which encompasses not just our equipment business, but our supplies business as well. So that's kind of my responsibility when it comes to the channels. I also happen to be responsible for the Canadian operation, both direct and indirect in Xerox.
So what did you do before that? You had a background. You mentioned you kind of danced around it, but I know you had a little bit of background. Why don't you share that with us too?
Sure. Obviously I don't look at a 30-year-old. I don't think so. So I've been in the industry for a little longer. And so prior to joining Xerox, I actually was running a dealership. So I ran a multi-brand dealership selling office equipment. So Xerox, Ricoh, and HP. So I have a lot of friends in the US. So as a Ricoh dealer, we were part of the American group. So I got to know a lot of the dealers in the US through my stint there. And with Xerox, we were part of what they call the Xerox distribution group. So most of my contacts were in Latin America. But we also sold, like many of our dealers today, we sold other things, right? So we sold mailing machines, we sold office furniture, we sold office supplies. So really got a good taste for, running a dealership. I've been an entrepreneur several times in my life, Andy. And I shared this story with you. When I approached Xerox, it was to actually be a partner. But things came in a way where I had the opportunity to, join Xerox and help manage partners, which I accepted, and it's been a blast since.
They reeled you in.
There we go. There's something in the water.
Well, so let's talk about this for a second because I love that, right? That's not something I would say was traditionally Xerox's way. You've had a reputation over the years of, trying to mix things up, and I appreciate that. You're an international company. You would not try, you would bring people from all over the place and put them in managerial roles. And but we just have such a weird channel here. This office equipment channel is different. And for Xerox to take a person who lived his life and made money in that channel running these dealerships and then put him into a position where now he's on the other side of the table. And there's not a lot of people. I just talked to somebody recently in another interview who similar situation, but was a dealer person and now is running the dealer program for one of the major vendors. So I think that's going to allow you to, look at things maybe with a little bit of different perspective and kind of understand, empathize maybe a little bit with what they're complaining about, why they're complaining. And I think in the past, Xerox was always a direct operation traditionally, right? And so the dealers were always that side gig, that side hustle, almost like what else can we do to make some money? And now all that's gone. The direct is for the most part just part of the history of Xerox, and you guys are all in on dealers now. So you are a dealer person. Mike Petrunti reported into you. Everybody knows Mike for many years. He was running the dealer channel. Richard now is reporting into you, Richard Chauvin, and and so these are the new faces of the dealer program, right? So let's go from there and talk about you've just taken it over about it in a little over a year ago. You've got your feet wet now. What's it been like? What have you enjoyed? What do you think? What needs to change? What are you working on?
Yeah. So listen, you just covered a lot there. So let me start with the first thing you asked, which is, the unusual way I got to where I am. And I would agree with you. And in my mind, Andy, it's a testament to Xerox's willingness to really double down in the dealer channel, right? And you said it well. I mean, I hear this from partners all over, right? I mean, we have a history of being known as a direct sales organization. And I would slightly disagree with you to say we still have a very present direct sales operation, but we really are focusing that direct sales operation in targeting growth areas around digital services, IT services, and all the other areas that we want to really expand into where we see market opportunities. That said, what we've made clear to the market is we want to simplify our print operation. We want to grow our print business. We want to acquire market share through our partners, right? So that's the testament. That's what we laid on the table earlier this year as part of what we're calling our reinvention. So I think, my appointment is a testament to Xerox to say, hey, we want to be connected. We know we have some work to do. We want to, we want to get aligned to what the gaps and opportunities are in this channel. So let's put this, have me kind of go in and try to tackle some of those gaps and opportunities. Now you mentioned, you asked me, what am I talking about? What am I seeing? And so I've been about a year and a half into the role. I'll say this. We have very loyal partners who've been around with us for many, many years. And I think it's also a misunderstanding to think that Xerox has not been in the channels, because we actually have been in the channels for many, many years. We haven't just been very vocal or present in the dealer space, and that's what's changing, right? So I've been spending a lot of time, obviously, meeting our dealers. If you were to ask me, the one thing that stands out is every single one of them, regardless of how much or how little business they do with us, they all want to see Xerox succeed. Every single one of them, right? Xerox's success is critical to this industry. So I think that's the first takeaway I
My
get.
dad always said that. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Healthy Xerox is healthy for everybody. It's good for everybody.
Absolutely. So I mean, that message coming out loud and clear from all the partners I spend time with. Apart from that, then we get to the day-to-day stuff, Andy, because that's what it means to run a business, right? I mean, yes, we'll have the 10-minute chat on what's happening at Xerox and what are you guys working into, but then it really comes down to what are you doing for me? What are you doing for us, right? So we've had a lot of discussions on how do we become easier to do business with, right? How do we shift our operating model to be supporting a direct operation, to be supporting an indirect operation? As we ship our product through distributors. We don't ship it directly, which creates a different type of complexities that we have to deal with. So spending time on what does that mean for our partners? We've actually recruited and onboarded a new distributor this year, right? As a result of the conversations we've had for the past year. So that's one example. Many discussions on pricing, on how do we better support our dealers when it comes to service, buying parts, escalation, all the things that they would expect. That's kind of been hit and miss with us, honestly. And to really come down and make that as easily accessible as we can for them so that they can, get on this journey to do more with us, because we have a unique opportunity at Xerox, which is to not only get more partners, but to get more out of the partners that we currently have. Very few of them, we are their number one brand.
Yes.
Right. So that's the opportunity we have. You spoke about Rich Schoblin, who's a great ambassador. Rich is not alone, right? He travels often with Jane Tuma.
Jane and Rich
Charlie,
and
yeah,
Mark
right. We've
and
got Charlie Rand also, who's spending time with her. These are people who've been with Xerox for 30 years. And by the way, in the channels for 30 years, right? We've also got two regional vice presidents who cover the United States in two regions. Each of those people have, roughly 12 to 15 partner managers in the field. Plus, we have partner managers virtually to support the day-to-day operations of our partners. So we have a lot of people in the field, production specialists. And I know you know that we're really interested in doing more in production because you participated in one of our events recently. But I mean, the point I'm raising, Andy, is actually we have a lot of people in the field supporting our dealers, and that's part of our testament to be present with them, to gain some mind share, to support them, to go on some calls with their leaders and their reps to help build their pipeline. And we believe that if we do all those things, our mind share will grow within those dealers.
Well, I agree, and it is a mind share battle, right? It's no different than a retail space at your local grocery store. It's first you got to get on the shelf. And I think in the last 5 years, you guys have done a really good job of that. And, maybe some of your competitors have opened the door for you. And I think we're at a point now where the pandemic taught a lot of companies that, OEMs have been preaching single line, for years. We want to be your single line vendor. And a lot of companies learned that you want backup, you want something else. And so I think you capitalized on that really well. And now you're at the point where now you have to take out the number two and the number one and displace them. So it's exciting to watch.
And and it's what's interesting, Andy, is we're not doing that by talking about just copiers.
Yeah.
What the questions I'm asked often is, what else is Xerox working on? And I think that comes back to the Xerox legacy around innovation, right? I mean, a lot of dealers want to know what's the next best thing. What are we working on? Where we do see market opportunities. So recently, as I've been talking with dealers, we've been sharing how we're servicing our clients directly, how we're leveraging things like AI in service delivery, how we're trying to package that for themselves to use for their own service delivery, how we're leveraging things like augmented reality, right? Those are the conversations that dealers want to have. And I'm a true believer, Andy, that if we can actually win the hearts and minds of the service folks, we can actually get a lot more product penetration than if we spend all of our time and effort with the sales teams. Right. So that's what we're spending some time on, to really educate them, not just on the quality of our product. I think we have a well-known brand. We have a good reputation, the quality of what we do, what we offer. I think what people are really interested in is what else, how do we complement that with, services, with things like robotic process automation, AI, AR. That's what's really driving some really interesting conversation with our partners.
So AI and RPA were two things that jumped out at me at your dealer meeting, right? And I don't remember. I was talking to a few people at the event, and I can picture where I was talking to them, but I can't remember who I was speaking to. And they were kind of giving this overview on how they used RPA to fix the hotline, your hotline, and call time, wait times went from days to minutes.
Yeah.
And not only were you able to take the technology and build something out of it, but then they told me they were going to, this was a packageable
Yeah.
service solution. So you kind of experimented on yourself.
Yeah.
But the point of it is dealers were, looking around for that next big thing. That what else, what else, what else? And, in between all these massive production devices and little printers and medium-sized printers was augmented reality, was AI, and and case studies of, hey, you remember how it used to be 2 days before someone would get back to you? Well, we fixed that, and now we can bring that to you and help you bring that to your customers. So now you're literally you're building models to help them monetize in AI, in RPA. How is that rollout going? Because these are copier sales people, copier sales organizations. Sometimes they have to be pushed rather than led.
Yeah.
How, there was tons of interest a year ago when I saw this. In the year that we've been, since the meeting, where are we?
So it really depends on the focus that the partner wants to put on it. So to your point, lots of interest at first. Those partners who actually have or built a practice, who had committed to build a practice around things, I'm going to say, call it broadly speaking, whether it's digital transformation or workflow automation, in which RPA can play a role in AI as well. In those partners, we've seen success. Like we've had sales now, right? We've transacted this. We have a catalog of bots that partners can easily choose from, and we've built a way for them to transact with us relatively easily. So we've gotten some early successes. And again, because this is at the it's early stages, we've spent the time with the partners that have either a leader internally who doesn't sell print, who's focused on that, right? To really kind of get our legs beneath us and get some early wins. So we are seeing some wins, and I think this channel likes to see people succeed, and then they get curious. They're very competitive. So as they're seeing others succeed, we're getting more and more questions saying, "Hey, tell me more. How do we do this ourselves?" So I think the snowball effect is going to occur here when it comes to RP and AI.
Well, that one sounds so good, when you hear it, and then I imagine when you sit down and you start trying to, we're so new into this, right? And
Yeah.
you're talking about a community of people who understand very clearly, I sell this box, I make money for 36 to 60 months afterwards in aftermarket, and it's something they've been doing for 50 years. They get it. So this is all new stuff, but it was an attention getter, and I haven't seen a lot of that. Everybody talks about AI, but you, to your credit, were that RPA stuff was the first time I'd seen it in action and seen somebody go further than saying, we're looking at it. There's a ton we think we can do. It was just like, hey, look what we did with it. And we're going to, we've got a package for you guys to help you sell this. And everybody could see that and say, wow, my customers would love to cut down their hotline. They'd love to take people off of the phones and put them into positions where they're being used more effectively, right?
And there's so many different use cases, Andy. And I think the other key element, right, is to separate the fact that it's not just another software. I mean, you can get some sizable deals with this because that's the other thing dealers want to see, right? Is, I'm not going to spend all this time and energy to go and drive $10,000, $15,000 deals. They want these deals to be sizable, and that's what they are. Not only they're sizable, they provide recurring revenue, and they're also very, very sticky with clients as you go forward. So I think we're seeing, they'll start seeing quickly that you can sell RPA and AI in any of your client base, regardless or not they do business with you in the print side. And those clients that you'll have success with RPA or AI, I can tell you the likelihood of you signing some print business with those is going to be very, very, very high. Right.
Well,
So
I would think that, the drag along business would be great, but to your point, the stickiness,
yeah,
and we always talked about how just adding a solution onto a copier would make it impossible for somebody to pull you out of an account. When you get to the next level, this is 50 levels above that. Now you've got AI and RPA wrapped around the company's,
yeah,
daily business. And how do you just pull that out and start over? You don't. Once everybody's using it, once it's in there,
yeah.
it's very, I'm no expert, but I would imagine it's very difficult to have somebody come in and get you out of that account.
100%. 100%. And I think that's another big change also, Andy, as we talk about Xerox, right? So if you were to talk to the gentleman who leads their production and manufacturing right now, and you ask him about, anything else that's coming, he would tell you that the emphasis going forward is to make sure that everything we launch is channel ready, right? Whereas in the past, as you know, it's always been targeted at the enterprise space.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what also excites me is, beyond RPA and AI, as we look to really package services for dealers to easily transact, think of it as a SKU-based transaction, right? So here's a SKU, here's how much you pay, here's how much margin you can expect from your partner. Here's where we basically become an outsourced provider of labor or services. Here's what we can expect going forward. That's what partners want to see. And really, as an OEM, we're making sure that what we bring to market is something we can transact easily through our dealers and partners at the onset, not as an afterthought.
Well, I love the whole concept of it. And we all the companies I follow, every one of you is looking to evolve into that next big thing. But just, you guys are doing it at some of the stuff you're doing is at such a high level and it's mind blowing. And it'll be interesting to see in 10, 20 years, is Xerox still thought of as the same type of company? They may be a completely different thing, right? You may reinvent yourself with some of these technologies you're working on and making available to your resellers. Before I do let you go, I wanted to spend some time on another one of these peripheral areas that I think is something that makes you guys completely unique, and it's sort of building on what you said of opening the door to more things for dealers, right? And this is an area dealers typically and agents. I was an agent back in, that's how I started my career. There was always a top level that you couldn't sell above. For me, it was like 60 page a minute machines. Once we got to 60, we had to get the direct guys in, right? And so now you guys have opened up the catalog.
You got it.
The meeting I was just at, just saw a couple of dealers. I saw a whole bunch of dealers actually from all over come into Rochester and come to this. You had a production summit. I knew what they were talking about for 15 minutes. And then when they got into the nitty gritty, it was just because this was very technical. And it was about the iridescent. It was about color matching. It was about pink, neon pink. I was listening.
Fluorescence.
Fluorescent
Absolutely.
pink, fluorescent pink. And all the different things they could do in the way that, just the shifts in colors could save these customers money because they are working so hard to print that color before mixing, and it was very expensive. I don't know. There was just so that 2 day thing was just just amazing, and I think that is one of the things that sets you guys apart, especially now that you've opened it up to everybody. So let's just tell me a little bit about production. You spent time at a dealer. You
Yep.
know, what does it mean to the dealer community? I think, and especially now, what is the attractiveness, especially with Iridesc, because that is. I mean, you're not even the only one who sells it now, right? You guys have opened that up to other companies because it's just it's if you can't beat them, join them. It's it's one of the it machines right now. So let's talk about production. What tell me about it, and what are your thoughts on it for dealers?
Yeah, so we're obviously very excited about our production lineup. I mean, dealers are equally excited about it. To your point, whether it be our Prime Link or Versa or Irides, those are great products in the marketplace, come with a great reputation that serve both. I'm going to say high-end offices as well as graphic communication type clients. What you're seeing from Xerox, Andy, is really, in my opinion, the reason why we've been such a predominant player in this space is we continue to focus on everything but the machine. We actually talk about applications, how to drive more productivity, right? How to ensure that some of these clients can make, we like saying, how can you make some money while you're sleeping, right? Leveraging the front
Yeah,
end,
sell
leveraging
your bandwidth. Yes,
exactly,
yes.
right? So that's really what we like having conversations. So to answer your question, what does it mean for a dealer? It actually means, again, very similar, that you have to make a commitment to be in this business. It's not the same thing as servicing and selling office products. You need a different range of IP from your service tax, from your salespeople, and Xerox is there to support our partners and our dealers. And then we've got some great production specialists in the field. We've got some people that are virtual going out there to make some end user calls. And really, the hardware, the solution comes at the very end of our discussions while we spend time understanding what the client is really looking for and how we can help them. So I think that's how we differentiate ourselves. So even though other people might be selling products that look like ours, the technology, the IP is Xerox, right? And that's what we bring to market. That's how we differentiate ourselves. And that's why dealers are so excited to talk to us about it.
Well, you literally invented the space, right? I mean, and saddens me to see the iGen go away, but that just shows you the power of the Iridesc that it could, it made it, I wouldn't say obsolete, but it made it to the point where if you're going to buy one or the other, you're going to
Yep.
buy the Iridesc at this point. The iGen is just, I was at Drupa years ago, speaking of Drupa, when they originally launched that, and what a day that was, because that was a mind-blowing machine. But back to that whole summit, what really I opened my eyes was it wasn't just training on here's how to use the machine, here's what it does. It was you bought it for this reason, or your customer bought it for this reason. They're
Yep.
not going to, that machine, it's going to have times where it's not being used. There are other things it'll do. There are other products you can sell, other services. Add this finisher, and suddenly you're creating new books, new pamphlets, new packaging, new labels, whatever it could be. And it's not even why your customer bought the machine, right? So the way that these guys go in and try to help the customer grow their business more as a partner, I
Yep.
thought was smart selling, right? I'm not just here to sell you the box and then come back in 3 years to sell you the better box. I'm here to sell you the box and then show you how to outgrow the box. And that's different.
No, well said. And I think, that's why we have so much success with those summits. I mean, we typically host two of those a year, by the way, Andy, and we usually rally around, 20 to 30 people. And it's a big time commitment, a couple of days to go up to Rochester. But I mean, we've had great success because the partners realize that in order to be successful selling this product, you need to be able to have those conversations, right? So you need to be able to sit, and to your point, right? It's not about, you know, just the machine or the application. It's also having business conversations with the clients to say, hey, we can help you capture more applications in this space. We can help you capture a new market. We can help you with personalization so you can actually increase, revenue from your existing customers, not just go and capture new customers. So it's really a business conversation we have with, clients and partners to help really position the true value of what this space brings. So, and that takes time. It takes investment. It takes commitment. And that's why we've been successful, because that's exactly what we've been doing for many years in this space. And I think that's why partners are so excited to have the opportunity to join us. And you're right. I mean, we have opened this up to our partners nationally. We've got some great success, and we're really excited about the years to come.
Well, I mean, some of the big boys are just crushing it, right? Visual Edge is killing it. Kelly Connect.
Yeah.
I saw one of these ear desks at Loeffler over
Yeah.
the last year when I was out there. it's an it box right now, and the companies that are working with you that are in production are doing very very well with it. So and it's just that you opened it up, and it's just it shows you the new face of Xerox, where in the past, they would have said too much for a dealer. The dealer can't handle this. And when you look at some of the dealers I just mentioned, right, there's not much they can't handle. And I
Got it.
think there's a newfound respect at Xerox for that dealer channel.
Yeah,
Um, and
100%.
and it's great to watch the growth. It's great to watch them just pick up these machines that you said they couldn't sell and they just run with it, right? And so I think you guys have achieved a new level of respect for this channel. You've been definitely working hard signing them up. Everybody's had some speed bumps over the last few
Yeah.
years, and you're no different. But I think you've handled them pretty well. And I mean that little summit, just the few hours I spent at that thing was amazing. Just you just kept rotating people in with real short little stories and little just very very educational pieces that just really showed the opportunities out there. Like if they're doing this, you're only this far, this much of an investment, this much of all they need to do is add this, and now suddenly making a whole new product category that they didn't may not have realized they could do. So
Yeah.
this has been great. Thank you so much for taking time to come on. And any last words you want to send out to the dealers? Anything you want to say as we wrap up, Karl?
So yeah, well, listen, thanks for the opportunity. I think, I'm excited about what's to come, so we have some announcements coming with another partner summit around the corner that we want to bring our partners back together to show them, how we've progressed towards what we've committed to doing a year and a half ago in Miami, right? We've said a lot of things on that stage, and we've made some great strides and great progress in many areas. So we're excited to share that. We've built things like partner advisory councils, which we haven't had for many years at Xerox. So we continue to listen. We have some tools that provide us feedback from our dealers on a weekly basis as well. So we're all in. We're excited about what lies ahead. I spend almost every single week traveling and meeting partners. And by the way, you'll laugh. You just talked about some of the big guys. We're seeing success in some smaller dealers as well. I just was in Florida last week, and I walked out of a showroom that was probably, uh, second largest showroom I've ever seen in the US, and it's in Florida, and it's not in one of our big dealers. So some people are making some big commitments to drive success in this space, and we're thrilled to have the opportunity to do that with them.
Well, I think I think you're going to do very well with them, and it's the landscape just keeps changing. It's fluid. Uh, no one knows who the last guy standing is going to be in this world, right? But you
Yeah.
you guys have just you pieced together an amazing product line that goes up to a level that very few can compete with. And it's just you're fun to watch. And I'm a hometown kid. I grew up selling Xerox and watching my dad sell Xerox, and so I'm cheering for you just like everybody else. And we said it before, a healthy Xerox is good for everybody. So but pleasure having you on today, and thanks so much
Andy,
for taking the time to chat with us.
pleasure was mine. Thank you very much.
Great seeing you. Take care, Karl.